Hi guys, me Lucy Spells, how's it going? So this is about Cressida Bonas podcast, but firstly, because I have so many notes, look what I did. I know it's backwards, but it says Lucy Spills. My son could have done better than that. I've not done it on all the others, I just thought that'd be funny. Anyway, so her first podcast was called Fear Itself. Now, this has his ex, who Cressida Boner, who he dated between 2012 and 2014. Now, they broke up due to the amount of press attention Cressida Boner was getting, and she was hounded, something our Meggie Poos could only dream for. She was hounded, along with Chelsea Davy. So, look how, Chelsea Davy and Cressida Boner, look how both these women look at Has compared to how Meggie Poos looks at him. Just look at the difference. It's amazing. So anyway, Chelsea Davy in particular really was hounded by the press, and in my very strong opinion, I do not think that Has is over Chelsea Davy. I don't think he's ever gotten over her, because she did break up with him also due to the amount of press attention she was getting. Both women are now happy and settled in their new families. So that's going to sting a bit for Has, I guess. A lot of things are going to sting a bit here. So anyway, her first podcast, Fear Itself, is a podcast about personal stories about fear, which I suffer from daily. I don't know about anyone else. And so straight away, it drew me in, as it's so relatable. So it has invited guests on to talk about their own personal stories surrounding fear. Like I said, such relatable content. So basically, the content is, how does fear show up, how people try and hide it, how we can harness it, and what we can do to learn from it. Such good content, I must say again. So her guests include Josh Llewellyn, also Scott Stewart and Jamie Lang, who I love. So although some of these names are unknown to some, it's clear on the podcast that Cressida is not interested in clout, so to speak, like our Meggie Poos. She's just interested in the personal stories of her guests. That's very clear. And just in the middle of the podcast with her and Josh Llewellyn, and I've got to say, it's got me gripped, really has, straight away. So because it's, like I said, it's just such relatable content. So anyway, it's coming the podcast. Yeah. So sorry, and so like I said, it's very gripping, in touch, and relatable. Whereas Meggie Poos' podcast could not be more out of touch if she tried. Oh my word. And is not gripping at all. Like I said, most people turned off after episode 1. So Cressida comes across amazing and seems very invested in her guests' personal stories, as Meggie Poos did not, and a lot of her production team did the interviews with her guests. Cressida certainly didn't do that. So this came out on Spotify. Yes, Spotify, on April 2021. Now, she has announced on Insta, as she's got a second contract on Spotify. Oh, that's got to sting Meggie Poos a little bit, hasn't it? Now, she has announced on Instagram that she will be coming out with a new podcast called Lessons from Our Mothers. And this will be coming out on Mother's Day here in the UK, which is March 30th. Now, this is something I'm very interested in and I'm very excited about, as my own mother has Alzheimer's. So I'm really excited about this content. And not a first one, sorry, but I don't know what any first, second or third guest as yet. But one of the guests is going to be Princess Eugenie. Oh, again, that's got a sting a bit, hasn't it? Oh, so Meggie Pooh's new podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, comes out on April 8th, as we all know. And as much as I don't want to pit two women against each other, I don't want to do that, but I know which I'd like to listen to between the two. Confessions of a Female Founder, or the one that Cressida is going to drop, which is called, Lessons from Our Mothers. I'm so sorry about that. So, Confessions of a Female Founder or Lessons from Our Mothers. Which one do I have a listen to? You know? So, yeah, so just listening to Fear itself, Cressida does come off as very less phony than Meggie Pooh's and is very authentic. Something our Meggie Pooh's tries to be, but really, really doesn't have an authentic bone in her body, as everything comes across so fake, which is why people just don't tune in. So, now, my good friend, we all know what friend I'm talking about, did tell me that this was in all of Meggie Pooh's little plan to release a podcast just days after Hazzy's ex to see if she'd do better, of course. But the problem is that Cressida's last podcast got 4.6 stars in reviews, whereas Archetypes completely bombed. So let's see how this new content compares. So Cressida will be dropping a new content, as I've said, on Spotify. Yes, Spotify. Again, that's got a sting. And in Meggie Pooh's on Lemonada, a totally unknown platform, at least to myself. So, well, so Meggie Pooh's just cannot do anything, I'll say again, authentically. After everything she's dropped, after one season of after she was dropped after just one season of Archetypes and being branded a lazy effing grifter. And I bet it's got a sting again that Cressida is doing really well on Spotify, like I just said. So, Meggie Pooh's was that Spotify, sorry, again, reading my notes. So Cressida is doing really well on Spotify, and like I said, Meggie Pooh's was embarrassingly dropped from. Oh, got through it with my little notes, with my little thing on the back, like I'm on This Morning or something. I wish. Anyway, much love.